I'm Father Mike. This is Elements of Faith. We continue our journey around the windows of St. Joseph Catholic Church in Shelbyville. We're on the second window now, this big one on the east wall. And it is a window that tells a lot of different things. Let's start with the Epiphany. The three wise men, the three kings who have come from many, many miles, hundreds and hundreds of miles through the desert to the Christ child, to the embodiment of prophecy. And they bring with them their gifts. We know their names, Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar. And we know their gifts. Caspar brings the incense, a symbol of all of our worship. The worship that humanity could ever offer God is what Caspar brings. Melchior brings the gold, a sign of all of our worldly possessions. Everything that we have is ultimately God's, and his gift of the gold is his gift of everything. And then Balthazar brings the myrrh, a symbol of our whole lives, because myrrh was what was placed on top of the dead person's body, on his or her corpse. And it's a way of saying, my whole body, my whole life, I give to you, Jesus. What's really beautiful in this window, if you look real close, you could see Melchior, and Melchior has his gold with him, but he's also laying down his crown. And it's a beautiful part of this window, and I've never seen it depicted anywhere else. It's almost as though Melchior is saying, Jesus, I abdicate my power, my possessions. I give it all to you. We don't know a lot about the wise men. We don't know much about, but we do know that they were learned men, they were wealthy men, they were powerful men. And they carried about them a great deal of influence and a great deal of prestige and power. And that image of Melchior giving his crown is like he's saying, now that I'm here with you, Jesus, nothing else could matter. And I give it to you. And I think that's a really powerful thing in this window, is that it's a sign of us, like our call to open up our treasures to the Lord, our treasures of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, which is our worldly possessions, all of our worship, all of our hearts, all of our souls, and then the myrrh, all of our whole life, our bodies. We give it all to Jesus, and we open it up and we give it away. And it's interesting that we call this the Epiphany. It's almost like when we have an epiphany, it happens when we're giving ourselves away. And when we tend to be selfish and all that, epiphanies don't come. But when we open it all up and give it to Jesus, that's where true wisdom lies. There's a saying, wise men still seek him. And you and I are wise inasmuch as we follow the example of Caspar, Melchior, Balthazar, journeying wherever the journey takes us with the help of the angels and saints and our brothers and sisters in Jesus along the way. And we go with the help of Mary following the star, and we give it all to Jesus once we get there. We get on our knees and we give it away. I mentioned that we need Mary and we need the star to get there. Mary is depicted here in this window as well. We see the old woman, Eve, and the new woman, Mary. And we see that Mary has corrected the mistake, the great sin of Eve. And you see there in Eve the snake, and you see the apple, she's grabbing for it. You see the example of disobedience, selfishness. And then you look next door and you see Blessed Mary, our mother, Jesus' mother, an example of obedience and of selflessness. And folks, when Jesus came to earth, when God came to earth, he came through Mary. When we go to Jesus, we go to heaven. We go to Jesus, we go through Mary too. and she's an important figure there. The top of the window was the star. And Pope Benedict XVI, he always talked about how we all need stars in our lives, people to look to show us the way to Jesus and to the living of a good life. And so I think our job is kind of twofold on that star, is we're to look to that star, the different stars in our own lives who kind of point the way to Jesus, who show the way. But we're also called and commissioned to be stars for others, so that others who are seeking the Lord, seeking truth, seeking happiness and joy and peace and all the good things that Jesus brings and all that he is, that they only look to our lives, our example, and then they find him. And they open up their treasures too and give everything to him. My friends, let us follow the example of Caspar, Melchior, and Balthasar, following the star through Mary to Jesus. God bless you.